Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Oline and I'm a knitter from Norway, and welcome to my knitting podcast. Here we just talk about all things knitting really. I do this podcast once a week on Saturdays, and I talk about what I've been knitting in the last week, yarn I want to get, if I've gotten yarn, maybe I talk about that, my whips, finished projects, just everything knitting related. But before we get into what I've been doing the last week, I thought I'd talk about what I'm wearing. And I'm wearing what I like to call my birthday sweater. This is my Cumulus blouse with the O-neck. I've knit this in alpaca silk in the color steel blue. And the reason I call this my birthday sweater is that I got the yarn for this for my birthday, and then I also casted it on my birthday. So I think it's fitting to call this my birthday sweater. And the reason I'm wearing this today is because it is winter here now. So I tend to grab it for my winter knits, my big, chunky, warm knits, and this is not that. As you can see, it's quite see-through. So I'm trying to make an effort this winter to not forget about all the more summery clothes in my knitted wardrobe. I'm trying to remember them, use them a bit, even if it's just inside the house. And this week the Cumulus blouse has been the one that's of my summer knits that's been getting a bit of attention. And even though it is definitely a summer piece because the body is a bit short, the sleeves are a bit short, and the see-through part of it, it definitely is a very nice knit. I love this. It's my birthday sweater, so that makes it a bit more special. But I just love the look of it, and the fact that it is a mix of alpaca and silk also helps make it a bit warmer. Even though it definitely isn't the warmest, but it is warm enough that I can wear it inside the house. I usually wear it with something underneath just because it is cold now. But yeah, I'm trying to remember to utilize my summer knits and just to remember them throughout the winter months. And I think me podcasting each week might help that, because I'm trying to use a new piece of knitting every time. So that might kind of force me to use more of my summer knits. This is super lightweight. I knit it with one strand of the drops alpaca silk, because one strand of alpaca kid silk gave me the same gauge as 2 strands of mohair, but one skein still only weighs 25 grams, so this is even more lightweight than if you were to make it with mohair. I think mine weighs like 150 grams, 175 grams, somewhere around there. So this is absolutely the lightest sweater that I own, because most of my other sweaters are like in between 5 and 700 grams. So this is way lighter, and that makes sense for it being a summer knit. But yeah, I am really enjoying wearing it a bit more. It has kind of gotten forgotten in all the other knits, but it is a really nice knit, and I love the O-neck of this. I'm so glad I waited to do a Cumulus until she made the one with the O-neck, because I think that suits me a lot more, and I just like the look of it a lot more. This was my selfish knit for June, because my birthday is in June, so this was my selfish knit for that month. But all that being said, I think we can move into the whips, and this week I'm going to start with the most exciting one, at least for me, because I am totally in love with this project and struggling to put it down, and that is this Hipster Hat. I cast this on yesterday in like the middle of the day, and as you can see, I've gotten quite a lot done on it, and that's because I'm not able to put this down when I'm working on this. Hours go by. I forgot to go to bed last night. It's just addicting. Part of it is because I really like doing 2x2 ribbing. I think 2x2 ribbing progresses so fast, and it's just meditative. It's a really nice structure, and I love when I'm making clothes with 2x2 ribbing. But the biggest reason, of course, is the yarn. Like, the yarn is just incredibly beautiful, and it was so beautiful on the skein, on the hank, and balled up. It's also really pretty, but I was a bit scared to work with it because it has so many bright colors and so many different bright colors. It's not just one bright color, but there's bright lilac, yellow, green, blue. Some of it's so dark it's almost black, so I was worried how this was going to knit up, but I am super happy. You get these like bright color spots, but most of it's more like pastel of those colors all around. So I think this is turning out super great, and it's also giving me another hat. Of course, this is going to get folded up, but I haven't knit far enough yet. But I think this is going to turn out super cool. And I just couldn't resist casting on anymore, so I just had to do that this week. I think it's going to be enough. The ball has definitely shrunk in size, but I think I'm over halfway on just a regular 2x2 before doing the ribbing. So I think it's going to be enough. I hope I don't end up with too much left, because I can't really think of anything to do with this skein, or just a little scrap of this skein. If I get that, I'll probably just make a swatch so I can put it here, because the yarn is so pretty. I would want it here, but yeah, I haven't told you what yarn it is. It's Miniaugustins by Hedgehog Fibers. It's hand dyed, and it's in the color Mayday. It's 115 grams per 200 meters. So I think this is going to be a wonderful hipster hat. I had one hipster hat before, but that's unfortunately gotten lost. So now the only hat I have is the Oslo hat. And only having one hat is a bit too little for the climate where I live. So I'm super excited to get another hat, and it's working up so quick. So hopefully this will be done in just the next couple of days, because I can't wait to use it. The gauge is still worrying me a bit, because this merino is just so soft, so I imagine this can stretch quite a bit, and I don't want it to just grow and be huge and just slip down in my eyes. But it's also 2x2 ribbing, so that I think might help. But yeah, I am a bit worried to wash this one just in case it grows like crazy. It is superwash merino, so it might grow. So I think I'm going to be very careful about washing this one. But yeah, I think I have to move on to my next project, but I can't get enough of knitting on this one, and after I'm done filming this, I'm definitely going to go straight back into knitting on this. But yeah, that's my hipster hat. Started yesterday, hopefully going to be finished as soon as possible. And then I think this week will just go in the order most exciting to least exciting. So my second most exciting project, at least this week, is my Never Sweater. Let's see, I just have to figure out. And this has not gotten the most attention this week. I'm pretty sure I said that my attention was going to be on this last week, and it kind of has been and it kind of hasn't. So after filming last week, I did work a bit more on the body. I think I did a skein more on the body, and then I've started on the sleeves, and this is almost 2 skeins just on the sleeve. I did want to try it on today because I haven't tried it on since I did last week, but I can't find any of my stitch holders, so I can't really try it on because there's so many stitches on the body, it would just be a mess. If I didn't say, this is the Never Sweater. I'm test knitting this for cottagecore, and I'm test knitting it in Drops Lima in the color Orchid, and I'm super excited about this. I am very curious to finish one sleeve and try it on them to see just what the sleeves being finished does to the fit, because I tried it on in the last podcast and I really liked the way it fit and looked then, so I'm wondering how the sleeves will affect that. As you can see, they are absolutely massive. They are huge and they're taking up a lot of yarn, so it's not moving super quick, and also I've been focusing on a lot of different projects as well this week, but it is making progress, and I don't think it's that much left on this sleeve, so hopefully I'll be able to finish the sleeve during this next week and work a bit on the body, and if I'm super lucky also start on the other sleeve. I'm making this in the size 3 for the pattern, and this is kind of how big it is. As you can see, it's almost the same length as my Cumulus, even though I've done this much on the body, so this is definitely going to be a huge oversized sweater, and I'm so excited about it because I think it would just be so nice to just wear a sweater that's almost like a blanket, throw that on when you get up in the morning, and just I imagine this is going to be a really, really great sweater this winter. So now I just have to start focusing a bit more on it, but I think from what I've been doing this week, me being able to focus on this a lot more is definitely in the future. Just have to look on my list here to remember everything. Yeah, there isn't really a lot more to say. I've just been working on this when I can. It's gotten so big now, it's not really a easy stockinette project. Even though it is only stockinette, it's not really a easy project to bring along with me everywhere I'm going, because it is just so large, and since there are so many stitches on the body and the sleeves, and I'm working on both at the same time, I'm just afraid that my stitches will slip off and I'll lose stitches. So this is my at-home project, but I need to get better at actually working on it at home and not doing all of these different projects. But yeah, I think this next week this is going to get a lot of my attention, and I think maybe will be my main project where the majority of my knitting time will go. But that's really all about the Never Sweater this week. Not really a super exciting update. Next time hopefully the sleeve will be done, and I'll remember to bring a stitch holder so I can try it on for you, because I think that would be really exciting just to see how it is fitting. And then to my last work in progress, I think about 3 whips, where I think I was at about 3 whips last week and this week. 3 whips is something I am quite comfortable with. I think myself that 2 would be what I'm most comfortable with, but 2 kind of bigger whips and then 1 smaller like I'm doing this week also works out. I'm not stressed about it, but that also might be because of the status of this one, and this is where my stitch holder is, because I needed this was on to work on my Never sweater. This is the Miniaugustins No1, and now that it is on this stitch holder, maybe you'll be able to see the structure a bit better. I think last week I was somewhere around here, so I finished that part of the structure, and then I did twisted ribbing and then another lace thing, and then I was ready to start on the border, but at this point I was starting to stress out because it was becoming very apparent to me that I had miscalculated how much yarn I was going to need, and I had just a tiny little bit of my skein left, but I did start on the border just to kind of see how far I would get, and I got 4 of these pointed things, and to finish it you need 48, so I have 4 out of 48, and I've run out of yarn. Here I'm trying to show. This blanket looks a lot better blocked, but here is kind of the border. I'm getting really tired of knitting up these baby projects and having miscalculated how much yarn I need. It's just such a sour mistake to make, because what am I supposed to do? I could either unravel all of this, but it's a twin gift and I've made the other blanket, so I kind of need this. Or I could buy more yarn, but honestly, with only 4 of these finished, I don't know if I would need 1 skein or 2. And if I get 2, then I'll end up with a lot left over of that second skein. So I'm just honestly so disappointed in not having enough yarn for yet another project that I haven't gotten around to order more yarn, because I'm just going to sit with it a bit, all of it not working out. That this is the 3rd project that I haven't had enough yarn for, and the fun thing is all of those projects are started within 3 days of each other. I had my Ankers blouses a while ago. If you haven't watched my podcast, I did 2 Ankers blouses and didn't have enough yarn for either one of them. And now with this Miniaugustins as well, not enough yarn. But since I've gotten so far, I think the logical thing to do is get another or maybe 2 skeins of yarn just so I can finish it. But this has definitely been on my needles way longer than intended, or way longer than I thought it would ever be. This has been the blanket that's taken me the longest ever, and now it's going to take me even longer because of needing to get more yarn. But yeah, this is knit in Drops Puna in the light grey color, in the Drops Puna that was left over from my sweater number 14, and I thought it was enough, and it wasn't. And the funny thing is, I've even made one of these before in the same yarn, same everything, and I always weigh all my knits and write it down how much yarn I use, and I'm 100% sure that I checked that before starting this. And I checked it again when I was running out of yarn, and it says that I used a bit over 200 grams for the other one I made, and I only had 3 skeins of this, which is 150, so I don't know what I was even thinking. But I know when reading patterns and reading numbers, when reading them, I a lot of the time just read another number, just make something up. I'm super bad at that with patterns. I have to unravel a lot of the time when the first round where you establish your raglan and so, because I just make up my own numbers. But it's always a bit sour, but I think this is the time it's been the most sour because I'm so close to finishing it, but still so far away. So that's my little rant about this blanket. Hopefully I'll have gotten around to order more yarn and gotten back into working on this by the next podcast. If not, I think this will just end up as a UFO because I have to just get back to this before I only have bad feelings left for it. So yeah, that was my little rant about that. But now we can move into finished knits on a bit lighter note. And this week the project has really just been flying off my needles. It's a mix of, I've chosen a lot smaller projects this week, and I've also been terrible at going to bed because all of these smaller projects, since they are small, you just see the progress so much easier, quicker. You see progressing all the time. And for me, if I see progress all the time, I just think, oh, I can do like 15 minutes more, then I'll almost be done. And then I just gaslight myself into staying awake like half the night. I'll talk about the first finished thing this week, and that's the Doble Tøfler I talked about last time. These are even felted, and as you can see, they are not very big. They were a little bit bigger when I knit them, but these are knit on 5.5 millimeters with drops Nepal, and not in a very big size. So as you can imagine, that went quite quickly. So I was like, oh, I can just finish this part, I can just finish this part, I can just finish this skein, and then all of a sudden it's like 3 a.m. and then I'm like, oh, it's so late anyway, so I might as well just finish it all. So that's my main problem with like very fast knits, or things you can knit up quite quickly. I have a problem stopping myself, because if I can see the finish line, I'm going to go there no matter what time it is. But I am super pleased with how these turned out. They also felted very nicely. You can still see the stitches kind of, but they are very, very warm and soft and amazing. These are knit in the size 25 to 26, and it's a free pattern from Sandnes Garn. I think Tøfler is slippers. So double slippers, you knit them double, and then you fold them into each other. And I was very pleased when I had finished this, because the whole time I was knitting these, I was very unsure if my son would accept them. And once they were done, he accepted them before felting anything. He did not want to take them off. It was almost a fight to allow me to felt them in the washing machine. And then also after they were felted, he tried them on just so I could shape it after his foot. And then they were like straight out of the washing machine. And he also fought me about taking them off. And then the next morning when they were finally dry, and I was so sure that he was going to love wearing them because he had loved wearing them before felting, like right after they were felted. And then that morning he got up, looked at them and was like, nope, I'm not wearing those, absolutely not. Don't come near me with them. So that's where we are with these slippers now. I wouldn't say maybe he hates them, but he will not allow them near him. If we ask him to put them on, he says we should put them on ourselves. The nearest he's gotten to use them is he will accept to use them as mittens, but it's not very good mittens. But hopefully just some exposure therapy, just leaving them around the house, will make him accept them. If not, they would be a great gift as well. And I must recommend this pattern. Super easy, simple, quick, everything. I used 1 skein of drops Nepal for each of them. This is scrap yarn from my father's zipper sweater, but I did end up with 1 skein left over, and I don't know what to do with 1 skein of drops Nepal. So if you have any tips for what you can do with 1 skein of drops Nepal, if there's a pattern for a hat, what's it called? Mittens, scarf, I don't know. Just, I really want to stash bust. I want to get rid of at least this like small skeins I don't really know what to do anything with, so they don't just lay around here and don't get used. But yeah, this was my first finished project and kind of what kickstarted this week of just finishing an insane amount of knits. And then the next few things I finished, I actually don't have here with me because I've already given them away, but I did take pictures. So here I'll put in pictures. I did make 2 of the baby bear bonnet by Knitting for Olive. My son's friend, she hadn't had her birthday yet, but they were here and her birthday was nearing, and my son was wearing his baby bear bonnet, and she would just like snatch that and snuggle with it because she thought it was so soft. So I thought that would be a great birthday gift since she already clearly likes it. It's also a really cute hat for kids. It's the tied on hat that I've found fits best. I've tried and knit a lot of different hats for my son, but they haven't really been a great fit. So it's my absolute favorite like bonnet / hat to knit for kids. It's also quite a quick knit, so I thought that would just be the perfect gift. So I made one in the size 24 months, which is the biggest size of the baby bear bonnet. Unfortunately, I wish it went up to like 8 years at least, like their balaclava does. But yeah, I made that. I did it in Drops Baby Merino in the color beige, and then Drops Kid Silk in the color light beige, and I think those colors work together very nicely. I've made other baby bear bonnets in that combination of those yarn and colors, and that hat worked up very quickly, and we weren't going to see them just yet. I think I had like a day more before seeing them. And my son's friend, the girl I was knitting for, she has just gotten a baby sister as well. And I'm very fond for matching knits. I love to match with my son when I'm knitting up gifts for siblings. I love for them to match. So I thought, how cute wouldn't it be to make a matching baby bear bonnet? So that's what I did. I knitted in the size 3 months, and one in the size 24 months and one in the size 3 months is exactly the amount you will get out of one skein of Drops Baby Merino. I used up the whole skein. I was super stressed when doing the strings for the I-cord for the baby's bonnet because I was so sure I was going to run out of yarn. But it worked out, luckily, so both of them got some super cute hats and they were matching, and my son's friend loved it. She was also really proud to be matching with her sister, so it was all around just perfect. It's a lovely gift. I would recommend it if you're knitting for small humans. I think it's up the same alley as the Baby Bear sweater, I think it's called, by Petiteknit. The sweater with the bear face on the front. It's super simple and quick to knit, and it also has that element of like the bear ears or the bear face where the kids also actually want to wear it. So you can knit something quick and simple and also kind of be guaranteed that the kids will wear it if there's not some problems with wool or anything with the kids. But those are my big tips when it comes to gift knitting for kids. And after those were done, I was already kind of in awe of how much I'd been able to knit in a week. But I started on a bit more for the twin knit I'm gifting because I am nearing my deadline, so I just have to knit on everything to get it done, because I had like a huge list of things I wanted to do, and I think some of the things on that list are just not happening. But I'm trying to get as much done as possible. So I started on these pants. These are the Willums overalls by Petiteknit, and I knit in the smallest size. And I know these are quite a quick knit because they are knit with merino extra fine. I knit them with merino extra fine. You could also knit them with merino wool or any like DK merino. But I didn't think they were going to be as quick to knit as they were. I haven't knit this small size in the Willums since my son was a newborn. This pattern in this size was actually the first pattern I knit after my son was born, and it definitely wasn't as quick then because I had a newborn, but this version of it actually just took me 24 hours. I started one night and then I finished the next. This one is in merino extra fine in the color light grey, and then once I'd finished this I just cast on the other one immediately. This is merino extra fine in the color medium grey, I think is the correct name. And this took me a bit longer, but that was only because I started on the Hipster Hat and couldn't put that down. So it was kind of a struggle between these two on who would get my attention. But I finished both of them, and this one in a bit under 24 hours and this one in a bit over. I still have to weave in ends and do buttons, but they are super cute, and these are my favorite colors to do the Willums in because they're pants, so I just want them to go with everything, and grey does that. So super excited about those as well. And I finished this just last night, and that means I finished 5 projects this week, even though they were tiny, but 5 projects is still insane, and maybe a testament that I should be better at going to sleep. But with these ones as well, I finished both of the legs like within a reasonable hour. It was still before midnight, and then I started working on just the stockinette in the round part, and that goes so quickly. And then oh, it's only 1 centimeter until the ribbing. Oh, the ribbing is only going to be 6 centimeters before you can do this thing in the front. Oh, that thing in the front goes so quickly. Oh, if you only do this, then you'll be done. Gaslighting myself into staying awake, but it's very productive. But yeah, hopefully next week I'll be better at sleeping, because next week I am going to be home alone with my toddler. My fiancé is going to be gone for work the whole week, so hopefully I'll get knitting time in and also sleep. The thing I'm the most worried about is being able to record, because my son is not having a nap every single day anymore. So if he won't nap, this will be very hard, because right now my fiancé is outside entertaining him, playing with him, but he won't be here next week, so we'll see how that works out. But hopefully I'll be able to film. Hopefully you won't really notice it at all, but just a heads up that I'm a bit unsure about how filming next week is going to go. Hi, this is just a quick check-in from me. I'm currently editing this video and I didn't touch on it in the video because I forgot. But tomorrow, when this video comes out, it's actually going to be my 1-year anniversary on YouTube. It's going to be exactly 1 year since the first video and actually podcast I posted. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who has joined me in this last year, everyone who watches me and wants to watch me. I feel like I've definitely made a lot of progress since that first video, at least I hope I have. But yeah, I just wanted to tell that this is my 1-year anniversary on YouTube, and hopefully there will be many more years, and hopefully I'll make even more progress when it comes to filming and editing and everything. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you, and I forgot to do that earlier today, so here is this video. Yeah, that was really everything I wanted to say. I guess happy birthday to this YouTube channel, and again thank you for being here and watching and just hanging out. I've been having the best time this last year and it's only getting more fun, so here's to the next year and I'll catch up with you later. But yeah, let's see. I thought I was also going to talk a bit just about my plans and goals for next week. I think I've said my goals for the different things, but maybe first I would show you. My brain's a bit scrambled. This is my list of knits I would want to finish just before the year is over. This list is not complete because it doesn't have any Christmas gifts. But years before too, when I've been busy knitting on other things, like the year I made my son's christening dress because he was christened, baptized, on December 25th. So the whole of Christmas I was knitting on his baptism dress. Is that what it's called? I'll show a picture. So I didn't really have time to do any Christmas gifts, even though I knew people wanted knits for Christmas. So that year I gave away Christmas gifts throughout the month of January, just whenever I'd finished the thing. So that might be what I do this year as well, just because I really want to get through this list. Some of the things on this list are going to be pushed till next year, like the Zipper Sweater Light for myself and probably the Eva Cardigan Junior for my son. But my goal for October, which I didn't quite make, but we're close, was to finish the top 10 things on this list. It's a bit hard to read because my son also has participated in writing this list, but here are the top 10 things, and the only thing that isn't finished is the Miniaugustins. So I am almost on track, and a lot of these things are like socks and boots for small babies, so those will hopefully go by quite quickly. So after this week and after having finished quite a lot, even though only 2 of them were actually on this list, I am feeling a lot better in terms of being able to finish everything. And I also feel like I've gotten so far on the list that I'm able to knit on more of what I would like I cast on the hipster hat for myself, even though that's definitely not on the list. And also I am just super obsessed with all of the yarn I got last week, like the hedgehogger fiber skein, and I also got this green yarn, and this is also one of the ones I'm the most obsessed with. And hopefully next week I'm hoping to kind of have one project with more special yarn each week. So this week it's the hipster hat, and then next week hopefully this. This is a bit thicker than I'm used to working with. I think it's 15 stitches per 10 centimeters. So if you have any tips on what to do with this, I'm thinking maybe the Terrazzo neck for my son. I'm thinking it could be a pretty pair of gloves, maybe a scarf, maybe a hat. But I'm thinking my son should get it. It's also not that many meters. This one is 110 meters, and then I have this one as well. So I don't know if it would be enough for the Terrazzo neck, but I think a Terrazzo neck in this would be super cool because it's just such a vibrant green. It really like attracts your eye. So I just need to figure out what to knit with this, but then this is definitely something I'm going to knit with next week, as long as I finish the hipster hat, of course, but I think that's very, very likely that I do. And then I'm going to try to finish my projects, work on the Never sweater since that's a test knit, hopefully get yarn for the Miniaugustins, and then any other knitting time I hopefully get, I'm going to knit from this list. And hopefully my son is going to give me knitting time, crossing my fingers for that. But I'm pretty sure it won't be as much as I've had this week because I also need to sleep. I can't spend every week just not sleeping. That was really all for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and comment. That means the world to me. And if you want to see more from me, please subscribe. Bye!